When I started learning about personal finance, I quickly discovered that the topic is a lot more than just accumulating money. Financial security is something we should all work towards, but I couldn't help but wonder what comes after that. They say money is a tool, but honestly, I felt ill-equipped on how to properly use it. As I was researching best methods on how to spend and invest my money, I ended up falling down a rabbit hole regarding the topic of values. Values are defined as fundamental beliefs and core principles that guide a person's actions, decisions, and feelings. In working to actually live out my values, I find myself more intentional about making decisions, and I actually find myself more content on a day-to-day basis. And though I'm still learning, I want to share the system I developed in hopes that it can help someone else out there. But before getting into it, hey, it's Al, and welcome to my channel. Here I'm tracking my progress as I build a life that reflects my values and the things that I love. My system has 3 main steps: find, define, and act. Find is about identifying what's important in life. By exploring our aspirations, dreams, and motivations, it can really help us gain a deeper understanding of who we are. To do this, I wrote down in my journal what my dream life would look like, if I would work, items and experiences I would splurge on, and how other people would describe me. After getting everything down on paper, it was time to move on to the next step: define. Define refines the vision and creates clarity. With the list of values that I found online, I chose 5 values that really summarized the list that I wrote in the first step. I'll include a link to that list down in the description. But with each of those words, I then wrote a personalized definition of what it would look like to successfully live out each of those values in my life. Doing this created a standard, or I guess an expectation of what to work towards. Take one of the values I chose, like growth for example. The definition I wrote for that is that growth is always challenging myself to try new things, seek new perspectives, and push myself out of my comfort zone. Once that's complete, it's on to the last step, and one that I think is the most important of them, which is act. Act develops a plan to make it all happen. This step challenged me to put action behind all the things I had previously wrote by creating and pursuing meaningful goals. But before creating the goals, there is one last brainstorm to do. On this one, I reflected on ideas, experiences, and actions that would get me one step closer to actually living out my values. And I chose the specific framing of what's one step because I want to create goals that are actually attainable yet challenging with the resources and time that I currently have. So after all that brainstorming, I then choose one goal to work on. And why one? Because focus is key. I find that if I choose multiple things, I kind of tend to focus on the easier things and let the one that's harder and kind of actually moves the needle, that one kind of gets pushed aside. So focus is key. Choose one, get it done, and then move on to the next. And as you're working on your goals, keep track of how you feel. What do you like? What do you dislike? Should you dig into a particular topic, or is it time to shift away and try something new? That's the point of all this, to learn more about who you are and invest the things that actually mean something. I've been using the system for the past few months, and I can honestly say that I've been approaching life a lot more purposefully. So I challenge you, go through the steps, figure out what your values are, and pick one goal to work on. We got this. Until next time.